Picture this. You're in an epic battle with the monster of all monsters. It has 9 heads, and if one head is cut off, to grow back in its place. It sounds terrifying, right? Well, that's just a small part of the Hydra's story. In today's episode, we are going to unravel this creature of myth and legend, exploring not only where it came from, but also what it means and why it continues to fascinate us even today. The name Hydra probably doesn't ring any bells for you, but chances are you've seen it in popular culture. In Disney's Hercules animated movie, the villainous Hades takes the form of the Hydra when he's about to fight the hero. This is one of the more friendly depictions of the creature though, and certainly not the most accurate. So let's go back to the source material, specifically Hesiod's Theogony, one of the earliest Greek poems and one of the most important sources of information we have regarding the origins of the Greek cosmos. According to Hesiod, the Hydra was born in the following way. First of all, she wasn't born so much as made by Typhon, who was himself the offspring of Gaia, the earth, and Tartarus, the god of the underworld. Typhon was a monstrous creature with 100 dragon heads, and Gaia, being the mother of all monsters, asked her son Typhon to mate with the water snake Echidna, whose offspring would be even more fearsome than he was. As we shall see, the marriage of Typhon and Echidna gave rise to quite the menagerie, including the 3-headed dog Cerberus, the giant chimera, and yes, the Hydra. Now, many myths repeat this same story almost verbatim, but the exact origin of the Hydra may have been a bit different in earlier tellings before Hesiod wrote his poem. We don't have those stories anymore, so all we can do is speculate. But interestingly enough, some scholars think that the original Hydra may have actually been a female monster, or at least the idea of the many-headed woman goes back further than Hesiod's time. You see, while the spelling of the word Hydra is the same, the Greek alphabet didn't have a separate letter for H at the time. So a person reading this text aloud would likely pronounce it something like Engra. Now, Engi, as in Engites, was the name of a tribe of giants who were all brothers. They were the sons of Uranus, the sky, and Gaia, the earth, and were said to have lived in a faraway land, possibly India. The poet Stasinus refers to them as having 5 heads, so perhaps the earliest concept of the Hydra was a 5-headed woman, and the idea stuck around long enough to inspire later myths. Unfortunately, there's no solid evidence for this theory, but it does make for an interesting interpretation. Whatever her gender, the Hydra grew up in a swamp with her brother, the equally disgusting Typhon, who breathed out pestilence and caused disease wherever he went. Together, they embodied everything that could cause harm in the natural world, the plague-ridden waters and the deadly creatures that lurked within. One day, though, Typhon decided to move to a new location and settle down in a cave near Mount Ossa, and this is where the Hydra truly became a monster. According to Pseudo-Apollodorus, who compiled the library in the 2nd century AD, after Typhon moved out, the Hydra took over his old home and made it her own. The swamp belonged to the goddess Nemesis, who took great offense to the Hydra's presence there. Why? Well, because it turned out that the Hydra had been making advances towards her sacred bull, something that she would never forgive. Now, Nemesis wasn't known for being very forgiving, but it seems the Hydra was determined to make her angry. After all, their first encounter didn't end well for the monster. As soon as Nemesis found out what she had done, she sent a pair of her sacred snakes to attack her. These were no ordinary serpents. However, as the Hydra soon found out, when she tried to bite them, her teeth were fused together and she couldn't eat them. Then she tried to strangle them, but her own body got caught in the process. Finally, she managed to kill one of the snakes, but upon doing so, it split into 2 smaller ones, which then swam away and grew bigger with each passing year. And so the Hydra learned a valuable lesson that day. If you try to kill something divine, make sure you finish the job or accept that you might have to deal with the consequences. And boy, did she learn her lesson well, because as the stories go, she immediately set about building an army. She invited every monster she could find to live in her swamp, and they accepted her invitation, drawn in by the promise of easy prey. Her domain became a place where travelers were torn apart by wild beasts. Human sacrifices were tossed into the marshes and entire villages were wiped out overnight. It was safe to say that Nemesis was now very glad that she had given the Hydra such a powerful enemy, and it was a good thing she did, because it would take 3 heroes to defeat the beast. The first 2 were friends of Heracles. Their names were Iolaus and Abd. They were looking for a new adventure and heard about the devastation the Hydra was causing, so they decided to travel to her lair and slay her. As you may have already guessed, though things didn't turn out how they expected, the Hydra was too powerful for them. And although they managed to wound her, she fled into a cave and used magic to poison the air. Iolaus was killed instantly, but Abderus managed to escape, albeit not without suffering a painful wound. Desperate for a cure, he was directed to the Oracle of Delphi, who told him he needed to get some sleep. However, the moment he closed his eyes, visions of the slain Hydra appeared and he was plunged into madness. Realizing that he needed help, he called upon Apollo, the god of music and light, and the god of healing, and he was cured. With 2 heroes dead and another insane, the Hydra continued her reign of terror until the great hero Theseus came along. He slew Typhon, the son of Gaia and Tartarus, who was still living in the cave, breathing his poisonous breath. The air cleared and Abderus was cured of his madness. Together, the two friends then hunted the Hydra. It proved to be a difficult task, but eventually Theseus managed to kill her. Some accounts say he stabbed her in the heart with a spear, while others claim he drowned her in a nearby river. Either way, the Hydra was defeated and peace returned to the region. That's pretty much all the major myths about the Hydra. There are some other references to it in later literature, but nothing too significant. And although it plays a small role in the life of Heracles, as the second labor assigned to him by King Eurystheus was to slay the Lernaean Hydra, Heracles' actions against the monster are better suited for another video. The Hydra was a creation of ancient Greece, but like so many other monsters of myth and legend, it lives on in our modern world. Take for instance the Hydra markets, which were founded in 1985 and are based in New York City. Hydra markets are a global leader in alternative asset management with expertise in real estate, private equity, debt, and infrastructure investments. They manage billions of dollars in assets and have offices all over the world. Even the company's logo is a nod to the monster, symbolizing strength and resilience. Then there's the Hydra Corporation, a technology company that specializes in cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. They, too, use the image of the multi-headed monster as their logo, again, referencing the beast's many faces. It should also be mentioned that the name Hydra appears in the title of a scientific paper. Published in 2021 by Harvard Medical School researchers, it describes a new type of immune cell that helps protect the brain from injury. To quote the paper directly, like the many-headed Lernaean Hydra of Greek mythology, a single Treg cell can give rise to multiple affected populations. Clearly the Hydra continues to capture people's imaginations today, and we can only hope that whatever form it may take in the future, it will be defeated as quickly as possible. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to support the channel and I'll catch you all next time.